Welcome back to another episode of the Kate Thurman Show. And today, y'all, we have a treat for you all. We have Dr. Teresa A. Smith, aka Dr. TAS. And let me tell you, I got to get it right because she will get me.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yes, you have to. Dr. Toss, thank you for being here with us. I'm so excited. I was so excited for this interview. And I want you to tell us about yourself because what we don't do here, we don't read bios because I believe in you guys telling us about you. No one can do it better than you. So can you tell us some stuff about you? Let me get some tea.
Okay. Well, she wants some tea. Now that means that how am I going to tell this story? Now I can tell this story straight, or I can tell it so you're weeping, or I can tell it so you're like, ooh, she's a powerhouse. So as they used to say when I was a little girl, I think the song was she's a bad mama jamma. She's a bad mama jamma.
Okay.
So, let me see how am I going to tell this story. I went from being sexually abused at the age of 4, being told I was the ugliest little black girl that this woman had ever seen. This is a relative that told me that, but she was light white, almost bright. Oh, I said it all backwards. She was light, bright, almost white. You guys understand. And so I get it. She came from a different generation, but I was the ugliest little black child she'd ever seen. And I'm really not black, but I am African American. So then I lost my sight in 1979, but I got to back up. I saw the police shoot and kill my uncle Sunday, January the 1st, 1978. Then I lost my sight. Then I went off to college. I got 4 degrees, but life for me ain't been no crystal stairs. So I'm trying to quote Maya here, but I'll butcher a quote and just any quote, I'll butcher it, but that's okay. That's called life. Have had gastric sleeve surgery. I've had health problems off and on. I'm hard-headed. That's a Southern phrase for those that don't understand it. I don't do what I need to do. And so then I've got bowel issues now. I don't mind sharing it because I don't want other people to have these issues. And so I wrote the bounce back because I had to bounce back. And so, my latest book is Dr. Todd Speak, Empower Your Journey. Well, we got to empower ourselves. My new phrase that I'm telling everybody is respect. And when I talk respect, Kate, I'm not talking getting respect from somebody else. I'm talking about you respecting yourself, because what I'm finding is I've been disrespectful of Teresa. And when I'm disrespectful, that means other people think they can disrespect me. Well, no more. Never more, said around. So that's what TAS is.
And I love it already. Listen. Y'all see why I love Dr. Todd? She tell it like it TIS. Yeah, and that's backwards, but you know what I mean.
No, that's not TIS. I think that's what we say. It TIS.
TIS. You tell it just like that. That's why I love you so much. You don't look like what you've been through. And let me just say, you're beautiful, honey.
Thank you. And that's hot cotton coming from you. Because you are a gorgeous woman. And if nobody's told you today, let me be the one to tell you. But I know Chris tells you all the time. He knows
he ain't tell me yet today. So because he sleep. So you the first one to let him know. Said Dr. Todd was the first one to tell me. How about that? Wait a minute now. I didn't get up in time. Thank you, Dr. Todd. I simply love you. And you done read off some stuff. You probably didn't tell everything about yourself.
No.
All those accolades you got. I read that bio. I did a little homework. I was like, well, wait a minute. I was starting scooting down on the couch as I was sitting there reading. I said, well, wait, she did a lot of stuff. So, what made you, and on this show, we don't like to talk too much about getting into, I like for you to tell me, but I got a question. What made you get into all and get all these degrees? All of these, you make these decisions for all these degrees and listen, just give me 1 or 2.
Okay. The bottom line is I grew up in a home. I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and education was very important. And when I was a little girl, I used to tell people I was either going to be a lawyer or a doctor. And so folks at home will ask me now, well, are you an attorney? Are you a doctor? Well, I'm a doctor, but I'm a doctorate in education. So I always knew that I was going to get my education. There was never a doubt. And so, I got my first degree, it's in criminal justice and psych. And guys, listen to me. I'm telling you this is because it will really help you to understand why I am the way I am. I've always loved the law. And I think, looking back now, Kate, I think some of it came from seeing what my mom went through with trying to help my uncle. He was a Vietnam veteran. And so, he was had PTSD. They didn't know that diagnosis back then. And so she really did everything that she could to save her brother, to then see him shot by the police. And so I think that also fueled my desire to want to go into law, but also having been sexually abused. So, law has always been my first love. Took the LSAT, just did not apply to law school. I began to think based upon the things I'd gone through. I was always trying to figure out why people act the way they act. I told my mama my whole life that I was writing a book, because we would sit and have these philosophical conversations. She's an older woman, and I'm this young child. We'd be having these philosophical conversations about motivation and why people did the things that they did, because it always fascinated me. But of course, now I realize I was really working on myself because I was always analyzing myself. So I got my degree in counseling, so I work with students. But I also understood that I like quick things. I like projects. And I think that's part of the trauma. I don't like things that drag on, because I believe, as someone said to me, and I think the way they put it, you can't be a victim and a victor. So, I like quick things. So I went and I got my MBA because I know I like projects. Projects thrill me because they're short duration. The duration could be 3 years and then it's over with and I've moved on to the next thing. Those things keep me happy. Then it was like, okay, I always knew it was going to be law or medical. I worked in medicine, so I then went ahead and got my doctorate in education leadership. And I remember someone said, "Oh, you must got something you want to say." And I understand better now what they meant. Yeah, I had a whole lot I wanted to say. So I wanted to put it to paper. And so being Dr. Smith adds a tad more credibility, not meaning you got to be doctor to have any credibility, because a lot of people are doctor, they ain't got no credibility, but that's a whole nother show. And so, because it's the essence of the person. And so that's the progression, I don't talk about my education normally because my education doesn't make me who I am. The one thing I learned, because I had a fourth grade teacher that used to talk about educated food, Miss Vita Mae Flowers. And those who from home, they know who I'm talking about. This one was brilliant. And she also used to say, it's bad to not know that you don't know that you don't know. I was always a good student. So these things, I've never forgotten them. And as I've gotten older, I understand not knowing that you don't know that you don't know. And then being an educated fool, because a lot of people got education, but they ain't got no common sense. And lots of time people think that if you educate, I shouldn't say that. Some people may think that because I'm educated, I don't have any common sense. Or that
now you got plenty.
Come on, because you see me offline.
I see you offline, and y'all better know she get me together. And I got to share this. Working with her and her working with my organization and everything that she does on the back end and helping us. Listen, oh Lord. Sometimes I be sitting on that phone Dr. Tom. I'm like, when you telling me, I was like, but then I was like, I'm gonna put my big girl panties on because I need this. I pray for you. I pray for God to send the right person to help us get moving in a different direction, in the right direction. I say, going forward with all the organizations that we have. So listen to her when she say it doesn't make her who she is, because baby, her being the real Dr. TAS is what I love, and I laugh. I text Chris when we doing our talks and our coaching session. He'll say, well, I'm getting ready to call on his lunch break. I said, I'm getting cussed out. He'll send a laughing emoji. He'll send this like,
he be doing the prayer hands.
He sent me the prayer hands, and I was like, "Whoo!" Then I sent a laughing emoji back. I said, "Whoo! I need it though. I need it." And he was like, "What'd you do?"
Okay, you're gonna give them the wrong impression. People not gonna want
it's the right impression, because if I can send him the laughing emoji and the way I talk about you, all the good things on the back end. So if I can say I'm getting cussed out, he knows that's a good thing, because it's a good cussing out. It's a good, you're giving good information, but you're not. I don't like when I feel like I'm in class, or if I feel like I want you to be real. So you keep it real with me. And they need to understand that Dr. TAS is real. It's not like you go and it's all tense. I don't want no tense conversation. You got to tell me just like it is.
Yeah.
So,
And
I love that about you. You get me
well,
right. And I love
thank you, Kate. Well, thank you, Kate. Because for those people who really know me in my real life, my real life, that's what you get.
it.
And
Love it.
some people can't take that. My
Mhm.
sister, our show is getting ready to come back. We'll talk with Taz and Angelia. And I
Oh,
missed it because, and that's it airs 8 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays on IG. We
uh-huh.
are 18 years apart in age, and we are very much the same person, but different. Because I was having a
Mhm.
conversation with her, and it's three girls, and then my mom. And I said to her, "We're four peas in a pod. We're that same pea. We're at
Mhm.
different stages of our life, and we've had different experiences. But at the core, we are the same person." Now, my mama ain't no joke. For those people who know Miss Gloria, they might call her at home. Mama ain't no joke, but
Okay.
Taz ain't no joke either. I'm just Dr. Smith with it though, but ain't no joke.
Mhm.
My sister Meredith, and I refer to her as Marley. I'm the only person that calls her Marley besides my best friend since 1985. She just
Okay.
likes to call her Marley. She can, Paula can call her whatever. Because we're all sisters the way we look at it. And so my sister Meredith is she's still my mother. She's just different with it, but she's still my
Mhm.
mother. Don't push her. You might see it. And then
Oh,
you got my sister Angelia. Well,
I talked to her.
Angelia is just, yes, you've talked. She is just, I said to her very recently, I said, I was you at one point, but I'm Taz. Now I'm a different version of that, but
Okay.
I'm my sister. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So when we get together for that show, it's fun, it's exciting. It's the same thing that you and I experience, except that we're alive and we're talking about different things that are happening in the world. And I have to temper myself. I have to temper myself, guys, because, you know, even though it's unfiltered, I do have to have a little filter because most people would think, oh my God, she said that. I am a real person. And one of the things
Exactly.
that I'm not going to do is change who I am to make you feel comfortable in your skin. You have
Absolutely.
to do that for yourself. I'm going to be comfortable in my skin. And so, Kate, when I interact with you or anybody that I'm working with, I always want the best for that person.
You do.
And so I am driven because I'm a driven person. And whenever I'm doing something with someone, it's us, it's I,
It
it's
is.
because in my mind, that's what it is. So I'm thinking about it 24/7, whether I'm talking to you about it or not. I'm always thinking about how can we do this. So I am so passionate about it. Even if I'm doing one-to-one coaching, I
Mhm.
want something, I want better for that person. Because yeah,
You
I
do.
do coaching. I want better for that person. But the thing is, I'm not gonna cuddle you. You see, that's what I believe people sometimes want to be cuddled. Well, you see, nobody cuddled me when I was dealing with the incest.
Mm.
They didn't cuddle me. I didn't get what I needed in order to feel secure. I had to do it for myself. And
Absolutely.
because I had to do it for myself, I want other people to do it for themselves so they can stand on their own 2 feet, whether everybody is standing behind them. I want them to know that. And so my mission in life is to make it happen if you're working with me. Now, if you ain't working with me, then you go and you do it the way you want to do it. But as I'm an AKA, and as I was vice president for the person that I would then succeed and become president for the chapter.
Uh-huh.
Never forget it, and I say it all the time. Somebody had said to the president they didn't like the way she was doing something, and the person's name is Clara, and Clara Farce, and I call her Clara Faye, but her name is Clara. I just like to do things like that. I got a cousin, and her name is Betty, but I call her Betty G. But
Love
anyway,
it.
Claire said, when you are president, you do it the way you want to do it. But I'm president and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it.
Love it.
That has always resonated with me. When
Mm-hmm.
you are doing it for yourself, you do it the way you want to do it. But I'm
Absolutely.
doing it for me. And so I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. So people that work with me, Kate, they got to want something because I
Exactly.
can't be the only person that's wanting it. And I don't have time, neither do they, to spend time stroking their ego, making them feel good when you
Mm-hmm.
want a product. Either you want the product or you want me to stroke your ego. Now, if you want me to stroke your ego, I can stroke your ego. You can pay me to stroke your ego, and I'll do it very well. But you
I
will.
want product. I want you to give me the real, because the real that you give in your coaching and everything that you do is, I know that you genuinely care about our organization and you really are for it. And so that's why I wanted to share that, because people have to understand that when you get someone, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be transparent. I've had some that come say they're gonna do this and do that, and honey, I done spent money, I ain't seen nothing got done yet.
Yeah, yeah. And you see, for me, Kate, I will have to pay for that because what I do, it's a God-given talent. Yeah, my mother, she groomed me for certain things. As an ex said to me years ago, she groomed you for this, and she did. But also, it was a God talent there that she was then refining. And so, being the person that I am, when I do wrong, I know I'm gonna pay for it. Now, other people may say, "Oh, you're gonna pay for it." No, no, no. I'm gonna pay for it. And like my son Jay and I used to say, we still say about my niece, and we say it sometimes about Mama too. Mama gonna be here this year. I always talk about my yeah, mama's a hoot, y'all. You know, she be on my cooking show. She's a hoot. But mama, and my niece, Alexis, their karma comes back so quick. Because Anjaya will tell me, we'll be on the phone and my niece to do something, and the next thing you know, she'll be going back up the steps, she'll fall. Because she's done something that her karma hits her really quick. And my thing is, I understand when karma be visiting me.
Oh
And
yeah.
people say, what do you mean? Because I'm observant of me. Then I try to figure out, what did you do that you shouldn't have done? And then I'm like, oh yeah, you shouldn't have done that. And sometimes it has nothing to do with hurting somebody else. It had to do with hurting me. Because I didn't do what I was supposed to do for me. So now karma has come and hit me upside my head because I know that I have someone that I have to answer to. I'm not going to keep doing something that's not getting the results that I want or that person wants. Other people will string people along. I don't do that. I don't play that. I wasn't raised that way. And they say a child should not leave. If you raise up a child the way they should go, when they depart, they won't. When they get older, they won't depart from it. I told you because I butcher saying it, but you get it. I'm not going to depart from how I was raised. I was raised to be a good person. I was raised to think of my fellow man and to give them a helping hand, as Al Green would say, for your love in your heart. But God, Al, you and Annie Lynch, I want some people to put some love in their heart for me, because what I've learned over the years, I'm loving everybody. But when somebody gonna love TAS?
I love you. I love you. How about that?
Thank you, Kate.
I love you.
Now, Kate,
I
y'all
really
crying, Kate. Don't get me crying, Kate. I love
okay.
you.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm okay. We got to stay on key.
It's
I'm not
okay.
gonna get crying.
And I said to someone earlier, maybe God is having me cry so much, as I put it, so that when I'm proclaiming what He has done in my life, and I may look like an idiot to people, they will understand because He is moving. And when I begin to reflect, I'm like, oh my God. And it brings tears to my eyes. And so I've decided now that I'm in a crying phase, because that's probably what the end is going to be. And I'm going to be talking about what He's done for me. And I may not be crying, but I'll be so over the top. Maybe they'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. Because God is good and God is real. And I thank Him every day.
I love it. I love you. And I want to thank you. Right before I did a show a couple of days ago, we had just finished our coaching session, and I got some news literally 3 to 5 minutes before I had to go on air that someone that I've loved for she was the bestest friend outside of my sister that passed away. They both were, she was like my sister, and I've never loved anyone as hard as a friend and treated as a sister outside of blood family than her. And when I reached out to you and I was like, I had just got that news and I was just all over the place for 2 3 days. It hit me hard, and I appreciate. I want to thank you for, you know, just listening, just texting back, and just it meant a lot to me because, not everybody that you work with you can kind of get on that personal level, or you can kind of say things to. That's what makes you different in my eyes as regular doctors, other doctors, like regular other professors or medical doctors, any other kind of doctor it is, they don't get personable like you. And I appreciate that. and I appreciate you. And I wanted to thank you for sometimes, when you can just send somebody a little message and you can just text back, I'm sorry, Kate, I'm praying for you. That's a lot. And that means a lot because that hit me hard. I'm still dealing with it, and it's just only been a couple of days. And it was actually her birthday that day. So,
Mm.
my sister, my blood sister died on my birthday. So it was one of those things. I appreciate you. And I wanted to say thank you for being the type of doctor. Not only are you a doctor, a wonderful doctor in your profession, but you're a human and you are personable. I want to make sure I let everyone know that you are personable and that you are so loving. If you hear how I talk about you, you'll be like, I can't believe. Listen, I caution that Dr. Charles, yeah, Dr. Charles. And I tell my husband, I tell my sister-in-law, I tell Jennifer, the people that I talk to all day, how wonderful you are. And you treat me like you're my older sister. And you get me together. And I appreciate it. I want to make sure I tell you that.
Well,
Thank you.
well, thank you, Kate. She got me crying. There. That's okay.
I mean to. I'm sorry.
I've been crying. I don't mind. Because you just gave me some flowers. We say give people their flowers while they can smell them.
Yes.
You gave me some flowers. Because I know I'm misunderstood. I've always been misunderstood. I've always been different. But people have to understand I grew up different. I grew up being sexually abused. I grew up with my family, and I understand now they didn't know what to do. I grew up with my parents. They didn't know what to do, so they couldn't help me. So I was fighting all the time. I would be having temper tantrums, talking about what was going on, and I didn't get the help that I needed. But God kept me. So those experiences made me a different person. And I understand that now. And of course, I've had therapy. And I understand that, but who I am is who I am. And I'm not like other people. I'm not that easily swayed. Now, I can be swayed, but I typically come back to who I am. But you may not know I'm who I am because I am TAS. And as a friend of ours said, let TAS be TAS. Well, TAS has always been, people have always thought that there's something wrong with TAS, but there's something wrong with you because I don't have to be like you, Kate, in order for us to be friends, in order for us to have a good working relationship. I shouldn't have to be that way. My best friend is white. And I say that, guys, only because some people may not think my best friend would be white, but my best friend is white. And we met August of 1985 at UNC, Chapel Hill. We are very different. Ooh, now my sister can say somebody that can get me together. Paula can get me together. She does it so nicely. She does it so nicely. Nobody else can really pull me together like that. But she does it very nicely. I was in Florida. She was in Florida at that time. Now she's out in Utah, really out in a remote area. I don't even know. She has to take a crop plane or this type of plane. I'm not exaggerating to get to the real airport. But anyway, we were together, the three of us, Angelia, and Angelia has known her whole life. And so we call her our other sister. And so I was going on about something. And she was like, Teresa, I'm going to get you there on time and blah, blah, blah. And she basically said like that, Teresa. End of that. That was, yeah. She put me in my place, if you want to call it. She snapped me out of it. We are very different. And we're the type of friends, because people think you got to talk to somebody every day to be friends. I want to talk about that for a moment. If I got to talk to you every day, every week, every month to stroke your ego, we ain't friends, baby.
No.
We ain't friends. You see, I'm your lap dog.
Yeah, like I got to be running behind you every 5 minutes. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't have time for that. I have people who I consider friends. And I'm using that word because, see, I grew up, my mama said, you have acquaintances. What did she say? You have acquaintances, you have friends, and something else. Because, see, I grew up with an odd woman. But I haven't forgotten my mama's training in me. So, you have all different levels of friends. So we're gonna lump everybody as friends. But if I got to stroke your ego for you to treat me fairly, you're not my friend. You're an associate. Now, we may have some common goals, but you're not my friend. My friend Paula, we met in 85. There are years that we don't even speak at all. Years. No, we don't even speak at all. When she got married, I was dating this guy, and I didn't know she had gotten married. And Paula's parents are deceased, and so she was raised by her grandparents who finished raising her, and it's just her and her
Mhm.
sister. Well, I had met the guy that she's married to because they had come by my house. And so I didn't know she was getting married because she didn't tell me. So I get this invitation. I'm like, oh, and it's a vow renewal. And it was in Dothan, Alabama. Well, the guy
Mhm.
that I was seeing at the time, he drove me to Alabama. And he
Mhm.
was like, well, how is she? And I couldn't get up with her. She had at that time like three different numbers. I wasn't dialing the right number because the number
Mhm.
that she's always had was the number I could have reached on, but I didn't. So anyway, the bottom line, he drove me. He was like, well, how does she know you're coming? I said to him, she knows if I got it, if I got that invitation, she knows I'm gonna come.
Absolutely.
She knows that. And I know
Mhm.
people may think, well, and someone always gets at me when I say you people may think it's my way of saying it is odd that it may sound strange to someone when I make that statement because someone has gotten on me about making that statement. That's all that I mean. And so we did not talk. And so we got there, we went to the house because they were doing it at a house, and the people were like, oh, you're her college friend, right? I said, yes. They said, well, she's upstairs. And I'm the only black, well, we were the only black people there. And
Mhm.
so we went upstairs, and then she filled me in on how she had gotten married, and then they had did this, and they had to flew, they flew right on off to hear her husband's new job side and all this different stuff, and we were catching up. She was in a white, because Paul was a little different. She was in this white kind of like Victorian blouse, and she had
Mhm.
on this blue skirt, sort of sort of like the mix between the blue that's on the border of the display right now. I
Mhm.
had on a blue jumpsuit that's more like that deeper blue that's here.
Uh-huh.
Look at God.
Look at God.
Look at God. That's what I wore. She had me, and she had her cousin and his wife. That was it. That's all that she had there because she basically doesn't really have any family now. She has a sister and she's got some nieces, and you know how that can be sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So she had me and she had her cousin. And so to go back to what the guy asked me, how does she know that you're going to be there? I said, if she knows if I got that invitation, the only thing that would prevent me from coming would be that something happened to my family, meaning my
Mhm.
parents. I was going to be there. You didn't
Mhm.
know your friend got married? No, I did not. But y'all the best of friends. Uh-huh. Because I want folks to understand, because sometimes we're looking for friends too, relationships, and we'll just accept anything, Kate. Paula and I, we don't talk all the time, but we are the best of friends. She is my best friend. If she called me right now, I'd get on a plane to fly to Utah to get that other type of plane, to get that other type of plane, to get to work. Because literally, I'm not lying, guys. She's way out in this because her husband works for like the park system. So they are way out in this remote area. But I would be there because the relationship that we have is not bound by us communicating every day. It don't work that way. And so
Mhm.
with that, Kate, when you talk about me connecting and really wanting the best for the people, I do, because
Mhm.
I know what it is to have someone that's really in your corner. And she
Yeah.
has told me things, Kate, and you know, I was a little hard headed for years.
Don't be hard headed, but we be hard headed sometimes. It's okay.
And, and she was probably telling me then, she just let me talk about stuff. But after I made a change, she's like, I'm so glad that you finally did that because that was not good for you. That was hurting you, but you couldn't see it. And I
Mm.
couldn't because I was so in it, I could see nothing else. And I thought, only a real friend would say that to me because she was probably telling me as I was living it, but I couldn't understand it. But
Mhm.
she cared enough for me to come back after I was out of it and say it to me. And
Mhm.
now it's like, and for me, that was the confirmation that I had done the right thing, even though
Absolutely.
it didn't look like it.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. And something you said about, not talking to your friends for a year. The one that just passed away, I got mad at her. And I was mad at her and because I'm big on loyalty. And I didn't talk to her for a couple of years and I had started searching for her um on social media because I had changed numbers and it hurt me so bad because when I'm getting ready to say, I forgive you and forgive me. And knowing, um, mind you, she's my daughter's godmom, and knowing that she was so excited, with Kiki and Naya talking, but knowing that she still had that much passion and still loved me. What I had to comfort myself in these past couple of days when I was talking to my sister-in-law, and I said, when her cancer came back, and I said to myself, I said, I wouldn't have been able to take being there these last couple of years, and God saw fit for me not to be there because it would have hurt me so. Because when she found out she had cancer the first time, I had just had KJ. And I remember she came in and I was trying to breastfeed. And I remember her face. I will never forget. She turned around. And every time I tell this story, I've been telling it for years. She waited and I was in the car and she asked me, she said, "Are you settled?" She waited till I got settled. I wasn't driving. I was home with my baby. And she said, um, I have cancer. She was always calm. And she told me she had cancer at that time. And I remember going over. I remember my husband coming throwing the pink bracelet on. I was like, "Don't." He said, "Well, you already know what it is." So, and she beat it. But I remember going in church. I tell the story sometimes. I don't tell the story in depth like this, but I will say, I remember one time when I went and fell on my knees, and I said to God, "I surrender." But no one knew that it was because of her. A couple of people, behind the scenes may have known, but I remember surrendering because out of all the friends that I've had in my life, she's always been the one that's always been supportive. I'm stubborn. You make me mad, honey. I shut it down. I block, delete,
Mhm.
ignore.
Okay, Angel, yeah, okay, got that cut off game.
I didn't grew up. I didn't grew up a little bit, and I remember my daughter called right after I got out the interview. She's like, "I had to call you." She was like, "I remember." She was telling a friend. She said, "You don't understand. Like my mom has friends, but this one was the best friend she's ever had in her life because I've had friendships that's been long term, but it was always Kate, you do this, and Kate, you do that, and Kate this and Kate that. No one is ever wrong, but Kate is always Kate.
I'm on
Not
that.
not with her, and I found peace in knowing that I wouldn't have been able to see her, not that end fight for her because when I went through seeing my sister pass away and watching her demise, that did something to me, and I thought I was strong enough when I saw someone else close to me die. I said, "Oh, I'm ready. I can handle this now." But realizing that right there with her, I wouldn't have been able to handle that. I, mm-mm, that would have did something. I would have been different for a long time. So I want to thank you for sharing that because that also makes me feel better knowing that though I didn't talk to her for a long time and I was mad at her and I was, coming around and she had been in my spirit. She had been in my spirit. Every time I'm going to the doctor, I'm telling Chris, I'm like, "Oh, I'm passing. That's her exit right there." I won't say her name, but I'll tell you her name offline. But and always seeing, it was God. And I thank you because it makes me feel better knowing that you don't, and I know you don't have to talk to people every day. When you got these friends, you don't call me, you acting fun. Look, baby, I got 11 million things going on. Ain't nobody got time for that
No, no, no,
at all.
no. And Kate, I want to say a couple of things. And guys, we didn't talk about this beforehand. Of another friend of mine, Kate, I did a Pathio article about her recently about her having cancer twice. I remember when she told me that she had breast cancer. I was driving from home. I was driving from home, pretty sure I was driving because I was on the interstate. I know where I was at. And she said to me she didn't know how she was going to tell me.
Mm,
Um, and God is good. She had double mastectomy.
mm,
Um, and this was maybe 3 years ago. Having worked in medicine for a long time, we talked about, how cancer can reoccur somewhere
mm,
else. that she'd had mouth cancer, and so then she had breast cancer, and she's doing well, guys. She's doing well. And she's a friend, Kate, that I don't talk to every day, and I know she think, oh, Teresa be always wanting something. She has helped me with so many things that I've done, things that people don't even know that she's helped me with. She's helped me in so many ways. She's the type of person that I trust with my bank card. And I have trusted her with the bank card and the business bank card.
When you get person like that, that's a good one.
You know, she's a good person. And she always remembers everything that's going on with me. You know, it's not that I don't remember the things, I just have so much going on. And this is the year that she was able to go out and live again. So she went somewhere for her birthday on an island. And I was like, God, I gotta get her something. I gotta get Gina something. So I reached out to her sister. I'm like, I gotta get her something. What is she, something she needs? What's she like? And she told me some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know she liked that. So I said, well, I'm gonna order it. And I said, I'm gonna send it over to y'all house so she's not home, so it'll be there when she gets back. And I did. And I know she's probably thinking, how did Teresa know that? Because I didn't know it. But sometimes she's been on my mind, Kate, and I have reached out to her and I've said, I don't want nothing. I started off with, I don't want nothing. And this is no joke. I don't want nothing. I said, but I've tried to start doing now when somebody's on my mind, I try to reach out to them. I've learned they're on my mind for a reason.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think about when you talk about surrendering, and I share Gina's story so that you understand that I get it from my friend Paula, who I do not talk to every day or every year. I don't see for years. To Gina, who lives in North Carolina, but she doesn't live near me. So we don't see each other often. To what I want to leave you with, some comfort, hopefully. Please, Jesus, give me the right words. He understands our journey in life. He knows what we can stand and what we can't stand. People mean a lot to us. Gina knew that regardless of how we interact or how often I'm there or calling, excuse me, guys, it's real time. My nose is running out, I'm crying. She understood that her telling me that she had cancer for the second time was going to be a blow for me. Not because she won't going to be able to help me with something, but because it means that I have to understand the reality of how fragile life is. And there are not a lot of people that I have that I can call on anytime, day or night. They're not. I know a lot of people and I help a lot of people. But there are very few people that I can call on. So when she had to tell me that, she knew that was going to be a blow for me. And it was. It was. And I didn't know what to do some of the time. I didn't know. I didn't want to, you know, I was in touch with her sister. I didn't want to do too much. I didn't know how to do things and so forth and so on. So what I want to say, Kate, is God knows and your friend knew. She knew. Like you said, the other time she had to make sure you got settled before she told you. She knew. I've heard people say what I'm kind of about to say, and I didn't really understand it because I've experienced a lot of death in my life, God. I mean, guys, God. Yeah, you know, God's experienced a lot of death. But you need an angel. You got to find you an angel. And she was that angel. And he didn't want her to suffer anymore. He didn't want her to suffer. We now suffer because the person's not there. But they are here. It takes a while for us to get it. I want to be able to touch them. I want to be able to hear them talk to me the way they used to talk to me. I want them to text me, but they're talking to me. They're here with us. You have an angel. You have an angel that has been with you through things that other people will never know. But we don't need to know because it's not our daggone business. You now have an angel who is there in heaven that can say that God, you know, she's a good person. I know she be acting kind of crazy sometimes, but you know, Kate got a good heart. Plead in your case. You know, he said, let me bring Kate's angel up here because sometimes I'll be wanting to whip Kate myself. I ain't gonna whip her little tail today. Okay. Now hear your angel that dear God, give her another chance. You know her heart. Sometimes she gets thrown off with all that stuff that be happening. He needed to put that angel there for you because
Yeah.
she's interceding for you. She was doing it here on earth, but now she right there with the master. And she can do it a different way. Is
Yeah.
our heart broken? Oh, absolutely. Is there regret? Yes, because we live in a world where we can still have regret. But she don't have no regret. And people say, how do you know that? If she is the type of person that you have conveyed to me, and when you talk about her not wanting to throw you off when she had to tell you the first time,
Mm-hmm.
there's no regret because she knows what you can stand. She
Yeah,
knows what
she
you can
took care
stand
of
up.
me even when she was going through. She took care of me. And I don't have those types of relationships anymore. I have some that's growing, and I've been very frank and upfront with the friends I have here still living. But I'm I, I'm first of all, I'm loyal. And listen, you got to get to that level. You know, because I'm type. If I say it's true, I ain't gonna tell you no lie because it's me and you. And if we get to that, that's what we had.
Mhm.
She wasn't. Look, even when I even had to tell my mom, it was a blow to her because it's like her daughter, you know. And out of it doesn't matter how many friends you got. When you got that one, you don't have to talk to her for 20 years, but if you got that one, and I remember telling my husband, I was like, I got mad and didn't talk to her. And I looked at him and I said, I never said I didn't love her.
Mm-mm,
He
mm-mm.
said, no, you didn't.
No, no.
I never said I didn't love her.
Mm-mm.
Love, loved her. Like she wouldn't, when she had her son, she wouldn't put him in daycare till I opened mine. That's why I own my daycare.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mhm. Now
She
that's a
wouldn't have me
relationship.
till I open up the daycare.
Relationship. Yeah, that is a relationship, Kate. And you know, I gotta mention my friend Diane, because Diane was a different sort of person. And because if we were just talking, I would mention Diane. So I'm gonna mention Diane T. Diane was a different person. We met on the job, and she was a quiet person. She was short. She had a stroke, and you know she had diabetes, but she was a small person, and so that was just kind of threw me too. She had a stroke, but anyway, then she's fine. She's fine. She has her child. She had one child, and she was pregnant when we got together as friends. Then she got pregnant, and so her child, she only had one child, a Mercedes, and so I don't have kids. So that meant I saw her go through her pregnancy because we worked together. I saw her raise the child until I changed jobs. And so Diane helped me with my after school program, just as Gina has helped me with my after school program. So that means my family got to know Diane. They got to see her, not just hear me talk about her. When Diane's death was sudden, her and her daughter was at the Y. And Mercedes says that she told this lady, because her mother was getting ready to do some like aerobics in the water. She told the lady, like, watch out for her mom and stuff like that, because she would do something else. And so I believe Diane had a massive heart attack. And so she died there. And we had not spoken because, I'm busy doing all the stuff that I do that I thought was important. I thought was important. And Diane is the one I write about in the bounce back. She told me she would always talk about stuck on stupid, stuck on stupid. And I'll talk sometimes as if she said, yeah, I'm stuck on stupid, Diane. You won't hear to tell me. And she was a friend that I would say, well, I need to do this, this, and this. And they're expecting this. And she's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And I would call her sometimes just so I would have somebody external tell me, you don't have to do that. And she was that person that would tell me that. And, like you talk about with your friend, we had not talked in a long time. Yeah, I was sitting in my Christmas card, but we hadn't talked in a long time. And her best friend from her childhood had reached out to me, but I didn't know the person, so I didn't respond to them on Facebook. And so we eventually connected, and she told me, she said, I told Mercedes you weren't going to respond because you didn't know me. Well, I didn't. But they eventually let me know what had happened. And of course, I was able to go to the service and everything. And I shared that again because I love me some Diane Hunter. We were very different. She loved her country music. This is the black girl for y'all to think y'all only got white people here. She's a black girl. She loved her country music. I guess Diane liked something else besides country. I don't even know. And I like all music. But she would always have her country music on one hand. And we talked about many different things. I was there when her mom, Miss Ruth, passed, just so many different things. But I had not talked to her before she passed. But I rest on the fact that we didn't have any bad blood. I was just living life, and she knew I was doing all that stuff I need to be doing. And she never tried to insert herself. She always had my best interest at heart. I will never, ever forget her because she's a part of who I am. She helped to empower me, and she still empowers me because I think about what she would say to me if she was here. Stuck on stupid, get off stupid, Teresa. Or she would have other little phrases that would just hit the point, and you knew immediately, okay, I need to share. And the thing is, with even sharing Diane with you, is that Kate, she was a gift, and the gift that keeps on giving. You see what I'm saying? Because you got your memories, you got times that you can think about, and you can laugh sometimes, and you'll even start saying stuff that she said to you. That's a part of the healing, but it's also a part of that person being with you still. Because people that are really a part of you, you just can't get rid of them like that. They don't just go away, even if they're not in your life anymore. And it may not even be a death. They don't go away if they really meant something to you.
That's true.
If they meant something to you, they don't go away. So I mean, you got all these wonderful times. She's a part of y'all family. So she ain't going nowhere.
She's not like, even, I would sit there sometimes, and even if I didn't even talk to her, I would say something she say. And, I'm always saying what she said. And it was just like I just love her. And it's not going to change. I don't know if I will ever have when you get that one. We can sit here and talk all day. Listen,
I know. What you said, we're gonna let it go where it goes. But let me just say, if you got the camera hadn't been running, we'd have been talking. When we were talking, this is how it would have been.
Yeah,
and,
this is how we talk.
Yeah. And my thing is, Kate, even though I am fiery, guys, because I am fiery, pain is real, grief is real, and you got to. Someone once got upset when I said embrace some stuff, but you do have to embrace it, because if you don't embrace it, then it has you hostage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to embrace our feelings, because you have to grieve so that you can now, which I never understood before, but I'm getting there, guys, so that you can rejoice. She's no longer in pain. She is now with the Father. You got an angel up there who knows all about you. She looking down, she cheering for you, she's rooting for you. The same things that she did when she was here, except now she doesn't have any pain. And when we love people like the way we say we do, we don't want them to be in pain. We want them to have a good life. Now, it may mean that they're not here with us anymore, but that's okay. One day we will reunite. But they're here with us. We just can't reach out and touch them as an animate object, but they're still here. They're still here.
I thank you. We can talk all day, y'all, but we gotta go. Y'all not gonna get all of our tea. I thank you being here with us, Dr. Taz. I just enjoyed the conversation with and listen, she's telling the truth. We can be on the phone for 2, 3 hours. I'm just here to tell you.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And thank you for being here. That's a wrap, y'all. You have
Thank you,
just
Kate.
thank you because they just watched this powerful episode with Dr. Taz on the Kate Thurman show. Until next time, bye, y'all.
Bye.